Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this event today, Cosmos Within, exploring the cosmos within. And we have invited some of our special guest speakers, Mark, Kramer, Shahira, and they have their different disciplines. Like, I would like to ask Mark because it will be easier for them to introduce and tell us more about themselves. Will be helpful. And yes, over to you, Mark.
Just a bit about myself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. So I started practicing yoga when I went to university about 20, well, more than 20 years ago. And I would just been practicing yoga as a kind of like side thing. And then I went to university. I ended up studying astrophysics and then ended up doing a PhD. I did about 10 years working in university as a professional research astronomer. And then for various reasons, I decided I wanted to shift my life a little bit. I wanted to move away from astronomy and do something a little bit more sort of people facing. So I've been teaching a little bit of yoga, or I've been practicing yoga for a long time, and I'd also been teaching yoga a little bit in my side, extra hours of the day. And so I thought, oh well, let's try that. So I quit astronomy and I took up teaching yoga. And yeah, for some years, I suppose astronomy just receded in the rear view mirror. Like I was focusing on building up my business. I started to teach meditation and then run some retreats and various things. And then some years went by, and I was trying to think of ways of bringing these worlds together: astronomy and astrophysics, cosmology, and then more like contemplation and spirituality and introspection, I suppose. So then, yeah, I ended up gathering together a few ideas, which ended up becoming a book. And then I wrote another book, and been very interested the last few years in bringing more and more those worlds together, in investigating our inner world, our inner consciousness, our perspective of what it means to be a human, and then in the context of the universe as a whole, in the context of us as a species having evolved on this planet being within the galaxy, and the whole of the universe evolving in the way it has, and what that means to us, and how that might change our perspective about our life. So yeah, I suppose in my mind, yoga has become bigger and bigger and bigger to involve what yoga originally was, which was all the union of the inner and the outer, of the up and the down, and the biggest questions of all.
I think you wanted to explore inside out the
Yes.
cosmos,
Mm.
actually the cosmos within that we are talking about, and celebrating International Dark Sky Week, and which has just started in US by now. And today is the first day of International Dark Sky Week, and I'm gonna hand over to Shahira to tell us more about herself. We have different group of people here from Dark Sky Association, some of our friends, some artists, some educators are here. Yes, Shahira.
Hello everyone, my name is Syahirah, or you can call me Shira, and I'm from Malaysia. I'm a space artist. I'm a part of the International Association of Astronomer Artists, like Ryan. And I'm also an educator. I'm a teacher, teaching in Infant Jesus Convent Primary School. And my passion is obviously astronomy. And I've been doing this work ever since I was 25 years old. I started quite late, but well, people start from somewhere, like right. So I've been combining space or astronomy with arts during that time. Even though before this, I've been passionate about it ever since I was 7 years old, but I somehow didn't think about to combine both discipline together. But when I was 25 years old, I had this light bulb moment, like, oh wow, I can actually do that. Like I want to do something meaningful about my passion in astronomy. I actually didn't get to continue my studies in astronomy because it is quite limited here in Malaysia. And surprisingly, I'm not from science stream. I am someone who studied accounting when I was in high school and only basic science. But this deep passion in astronomy and space kept me going strong. And along with my skills in painting and drawing, I came up with the idea to deliver this passion, this interest in astronomy and space through my artworks. And I have to say, I'm kind of proud where I am right now. I am able to share my knowledge and at the same time express my passion. Especially as a teacher, I have my platform. So I understand how Mark felt. Like he wanted to have connection with other people as well. So being a teacher is such a great platform to deliver this knowledge.
Excellent. Uh, so I would like to introduce and invite Kramer. And Kramer is my very old friend and very special friend who do music therapy, and he connects people with the nature through his music practices. Thank you so much, Kramer, for joining this event, and welcome. Yes, please, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. I'm honored to be here. It's a topic I feel very passionately about. Music, as well as yoga and art and the dark skies and connecting to the cosmos within. It's just like all aligned so beautifully. Um, yeah, I'm a music therapist. I live in the Bay Area of California and I serve a whole range of people, 100 years old all the way to toddlers and little kiddos. So I really get to see the full lifespan and I get to use music to reach these people in creative ways. Um, yeah, I feel really blessed to be working as a musician, as a music therapist. I identify as a healer and just kind of bringing all these different elements together. Um, it was kind of an interesting journey to become a music therapist. I started off just singing in choirs and pursued a more classical music route. And then there was an experience I had where I was working in the wilderness with troubled teens. It's wilderness therapy camps, kind of like boot camps where they're immersed into the desert and learning survival skills, learning how to build fires, learning how to feed themselves. Um, and this was a really impactful experience for me. I wanted to see how I could continue working with teenagers, continue working with people in a way that like really actually made a difference. So I ended up finishing my degree in music therapy, and I've been working with teenagers mostly. Um, and the difficulty is finding ways for me to bring what I know about sound healing, what I know about the physics, and the way that vibration works into a way that's very practical for these teenagers and for people in our modern lives. So yeah, it'll be interesting talking to each of you about how all of this relates and integrates. But I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, and I'm going to introduce myself. I'm founder of Cosmic Tribe. I'm part of International Dark Sky Association as a delegate and advocate. I'm also part of International Association of International Astronomical Artists Association, which is IAAA, and working on astronomical art, especially for educators. The new project that we are working together, me and Syahirah. And I'm super interested to bring different disciplines on board to create more inclusive understanding about our universe. Because when I see a lot of astronomers and artists, because my interest mostly in arts, and I studied astronomy as well, and I found there's a missing gap where we can include and invite more people collectively together to talk about and bring new ideas together to make education, science education, or specifically astronomy more accessible? Because a lot of people think it's quite challenging to understand the scientific phenomena and scientific terms that we are using or anything to make it more easier. Art is a universal tool or universal language for everybody to understand, and we have so many people here in this meeting right now who belongs from a different background, and they all are collectively interested in astronomy or understanding why they are here for in this on this planet, or to understand what is the purpose of cosmos within. So have pre-made some questionnaires for today's event, and I'm going to ask one by one each of you the same question, and that's how we are going to talk about. And the first question I'm going to talk about: can you share any personal experience that highlights the importance of preserving dark skies and reducing light pollution? First, I would like to ask Mark about this question, and then I'm going to move on. Yes, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, it's a very interesting question. I mean, I live here in London and in the UK, and it's possibly the worst place, well, one of the worst places, right, to do stargazing. Although, having said that, on a clear night, you can always step out and look up and see stars. You may not see very many of them, but they're there. And I think I always try to emphasize to people that when you have an idea about wanting to go and do stargazing, and you get your telescope out and you go outside and you've got a plan and you know what you want, and then you end up being cloudy or raining or whatever, then you get frustrated. You know, there's a kind of like sense of, I want things to be like this, but they're not. Now, I try to emphasize what it might be like to stargaze with a more mindful attitude. And mindfulness is all about becoming aware of how things are and not wishing them to be different. We just immerse ourselves in our present moment and appreciate and be here with things as they are. So we go outside, we step outside, and we just see how things are. And yeah, there might be some clouds, there might be some, you know, might not be the way we want it to be, but nevertheless, it's a moment where we can pause and slow down and just kind of be with that moment. And yeah, again, here in London, you know, there's lots and lots of lights around, but still we can look and see, you know, and it's like, there's a star. And it doesn't really matter what star it is, it's suddenly we're seeing light that's coming from millions of kilometers away, light years away, that's been traveling through space. And that is a very special moment to be able to appreciate that, how we can see part of our universe right here. And that is accessible and open to anyone from anywhere at any point. So, you know, there's that moment. And the other thing that occurred to me that when I was thinking about this question, this is slightly related, that back when I was doing professional astronomy, I remember we got sent to various telescopes around the world to collect data. And the first time I went to Hawaii, we had some nights on a telescope up on the mountain there. And you know, you arrive at the telescope all excited in the dusk. You go into the control room, you spend all night in the control room with the computers looking at, you know, making sure that the telescope's doing what it should do. And then the dawn, you emerge into the morning light. And I realized I hadn't looked up at the night sky once. I hadn't looked at the night sky once, and I was in Hawaii. So here was like the contrast. Here in London, it's probably one of the worst light polluted skies. And then in Hawaii, it was just the most perfect dark night. And I didn't even look at the stars with my own eyes. And I think that really, after some years, it dawned on me, gosh, I was so caught up in my idea about what I wanted to do and how I wanted it to be, that I forgot to be in the present moment and see things as they really were. So I think maybe those two examples together sort of seem to capture that
I think
question for me.
yes. I think let's pledge for to protect our dark sky specifically. Here's the link that I've shared in the chat box. It is a link to International Dark Sky Association, specifically for International Dark Sky Week. You all may pledge and support this idea to protect our night sky and bring your digital footprints on this platform. And I'm going to share my personal experience. I'm trying to have the same thing with my telescope, and it's raining almost every day here in France, and I'm facing the same problem. And I think it's one of the best examples that Mark has given to all of us. And I think sooner or later I'm going to see the sky, clear sky, and go. First, it's not so easy. You have to go out and away from this. And I was trying to do the same thing. Like I went away almost 200 kilometers, and it was very fine, clear sky. But by the end, it was raining at the like I could not see the sky, the stars at all. Anyhow, so I'm going to ask the same question to Syahirah regarding this. What do you think? What is your perspective on how can you share your any personal experience that highlights the importance of preserving the dark sky and reducing light pollution? Yes.
Thank you so much for the question, Ryan. So, for my personal experiences, I actually grew up in a dark sky area in Malaysia. I remember when I was 7 years old, I went out and I saw a lot of stars outside. And that was my view until I was 12 years old. I had to move to somewhere more urban, and I realized that I'm not so many stars. I can't see as much stars as I did when I was in my the village where I grew up. And but I kept on stargazing because that is what I do. I love to stargaze so much. I feel this deep connection with the universe, what is out there, the stars, the planets, moon, everything. I felt this deep connection ever since I was a kid, and that what drove me to study more about it. And nevertheless, I still could see Orion, which is one of my favorite constellation to look at. And that time I realized, hey, I can see Orion during this time, but I can't see it maybe in the next month. Next month, I can't see it. So I study more about it. Oh, I just realized that constellation change every season. Like every season there will be prominent constellations. And yeah, I made do with the sky that I could see, the view of the night sky that I could see. And when I right now I'm already an adult, a working adult, I have to move somewhere, even in a more developed city. It's surprising to me that I am actually surrounded with flow of light pollution. It feels like I'm encapsulated. I was imprisoned. I felt very sad. I felt very sad because it's something that I do every night. I never fail to go out and stargaze unless it's raining or it's very cloudy. And then I thought to myself, maybe I could, you know, figure out other ways to connect with the stars. So I turned to making arts. And for me as a teacher, I conducted this action research with my pupils. It is related to identifying prominent constellation in a specific season. So right now we're entering spring season. So I taught them about the spring constellations. And we had this stargazing activity. When I brought them to the field, they looked up and they said, "Teacher, I can't see much stars. It's not like what I see in the star map." And I was like, "Kids, it's because of the light pollution. We're living in a heavily light polluted area, an urbanized area. So a lot of people are here. So a lot of lights, a lot of artificial lights." So they were wondering, like, can we go somewhere darker so we can see more stars? So I can see that they have the realization that there are some places that can offer them much better view of the night sky. I felt kind of sad to my towards my students because most of them grew up in this city, in this developed city, and they were not exposed to astronomy, let alone about dark skies. They're not familiar with it. So I told them that back then, the night sky was a mean of survival as humans. For us to know the stars, constellations, how the dynamic of the sky is to survive. So back then, the sky was our calendar, our clock, and even our source of entertainment, our storybook, our ways to seek peace and express our creativity. And that I feel as an educator, I feel this huge responsibility to educate them about the danger of light pollution, especially when they're living in the city, as well as the awareness about dark sky. When they learned about constellation and stars, in a way, they also learn about they are more aware about the existence of light pollution, which they didn't realize before this. So this is my personal experiences that highlight the importance of preserving dark skies and reducing light pollution.
It's very interesting. And I think the five basic principles that are given on our Dark Sky Association website are so important that I'm always advocating and sharing this message to every platform that I go and share this. Oh, it's so easy. Just because this light pollution is so easy to reduce because it has like you just need to turn off the light. But this message is a little hard to understand, which has no further like remains like you don't need to remove anything like plastic pollution or any like it's so easy, but it's very hard to understand. Just turn off the light or just use shaded light or but it's I think it's a little hard for us to understand that what we are missing anyhow. So I'm going to ask the same question to Grammar, that share your experience and how we can like any experience that highlights the importance of preserving the dark sky or reducing light pollution.
I think
Yes.
just knowing you, Ryan, and learning more, educating myself, just understanding how simple it is, right? To reduce light pollution. Sometimes it's a matter of turning the brightness down on your phone or just learning about different street lights or just starting to debunk and demyth some of the, you know, information about how much light we do need. Um, I live in Oakland, and at night it is very dark. So I notice when I turn off all my lights and I just give myself the chance to decompress at the end of the day, I can hear the owls, I can see the dark forest, and I can really just be in the darkness. And it is so wonderful at the end of a day to just unwind that way. Um, as I mentioned earlier, I was working as a wilderness guide with these teenagers. Um, and the days were really hard. We were hiking, looking for water. This is in the Utah desert of the United States. But I noticed at night we were cooking on the fire, and at the end of the day, we just were together, and we could just be around the fire. Um, and for a lot of these kids, it was the first time they had seen the night sky. So just like Shira, we were looking at the constellations, talking about the mythology behind the constellations and just identifying them in the sky. And I noticed a sense of peace in the groups at the end of the day when we were, you know, accomplished all our tasks for the day. We had done what's necessary for our survival, and now we could just be So I really found that to be a very special experience, and just saw kind of the lights in these young people's eyes, and wanted to find a way to kind of bring that um, into these different treatment centers where they're indoors all day, and just kind of reminding them of the elements.
Interesting. One practice that I do every day at night, I figured out that yes, the one that you mentioned about our smartphones specifically, and I use eye mask
Mm.
to have a better sleep. I think it has improved my sleep at night, even though I cannot do anything the light which is trespassing from the window, from outdoor in my room. And but the only option that I can avail at the moment right now is just, even though we have to work together to address this problem, and advocate for this specifically using these five basic principles. But what I am practicing at the moment to have a better sleep, I'm using eye mask and using the dark mode on every platform that I use uh, on my computer, on my smartphone. That is what I'm doing to have a better mental health, I would say. And other than this, I'm practicing because I live in an apartment, so minimize and turn off all the extra lights to use the and optimize the use. So I'm going to ask you the second question. It is regarding, what are some practical tips and techniques individual can incorporate in their daily lives to connect with the cosmos and practice mindfulness? I'm going to ask this question to Mark first. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great one. I've been thinking a lot about this over the last year or so, or 18 months, ways in which we can bring the cosmos more into our daily life to see that perspective. I think from a yoga perspective point of view, here's a very simple one. Maybe we could all try this together. So if you just close your eyes or just lower your eyes and just bringing your attention to your sense of weight. Now, you're going to be sitting on a chair, or I'm sitting on the floor. So we're sitting on something. So there's a sense of the pressure, your body weight here on the chair, the cushion, maybe your feet on the floor. And we're just really bringing our awareness to that feeling. Now, the feeling is generated because our body is being pulled downwards, and that downwards pull is, of course, gravity. So we're sensing immediately the force of gravity, and we just have to follow that sense downwards from the body through that feeling of pressure. We find the cushion, we find the floor, and then we just keep following that down. Gravity takes our attention downwards, maybe through the building, and maybe it's not very far, or maybe it's quite far if you're quite high up, but we're following it through the building and we end up at the ground. So our immediate sense of downwards, the pull of downwards takes us to the ground, takes us to that feeling of being grounded, of actually sensing the ground underneath the body. And of course, the gravity is generated by our planet Earth. So we touch the ground with our attention, we're touching our planet Earth. And then we keep on following that down. And the reason why we feel all this gravity is because the Earth is very, very big. It can generate a lot of gravity, holds everything to the surface. So here we have our planet. We have our planet beneath our body, stretching for thousands of kilometers underneath you. And our planet is just one part of this amazing cosmos that we live in. The planet is spinning, the planet is orbiting, our planet and the whole solar system is moving through space, moving through our galaxy. And it's just all there for us. All we need to do is bring our attention to the sense of weight. Weight sends us down into the Earth and our sense of our planet. our planet and the cosmos. Yeah, so can let their eyes lift. Kind of simple, but pretty powerful, I'd say.
Yes, I think it was very mindful. Yes, that was really mindful. Yes, for sure. I would like to ask the same question. I thank you, Mark, for sharing your best tip uh, for all of us to at least feel the cosmos within. What does it mean actually? I'm going to ask Shahira how we can practice mindfulness with space art, or from your practice, what tips and techniques that you would like to share with us.
Before I share, can I also share my opinion about what Mark did just now? Before this, when I stargaze, I used to do that. I used to close my eyes. I look up in the night sky. I look up at the stars. And then after a while, I just want to feel my body become a part of the earth, because we are biologically, chemically, and atomically connected to the earth. So I just want to feel like me being a part of the universe experiencing itself. So every time I stargaze, I do that. Even though I didn't join any yoga class, but I can really feel that. And that's when I feel like I'm truly part of the nature, a part of the universe. It's in me and I am them. Sounded like this. It sounds kind of scary for maybe for some people, but for me, it's it's so scary but comforting in the same time, and the vastness of the universe. And to share about how I express my passion and incorporate space and astronomy in my daily life. Well, having this passion towards the universe, I had this intense need to express myself, to show that how much I love astronomy, how much I have knowledge about it. Maybe not as much as those who studied in it, but I do know some things, and it's worth sharing. So my way is through creating arts, and I work with acrylic, watercolor, and also I also do sketching. So that's how I do it, because it is something that is I've been doing, like I told you, uh for for the rest of my life. I've been doing it, and being a teacher, of course, I share with my student, and I have told you about my action research. It's actually related to creating arts based on what they see in group of stars. So the star is group in its constellation, but without the lines. So I asked the students to reimagine. I don't want you to see. I don't want you to refer to any of the information about constellations, because I know that they're not exposed about it as much. So they're the perfect sample. So I asked them to create artworks, and they came up with a lot of things based on what they watch, what they experience, what they love. So doing it myself, I also want my students to be able to experience space and art as well. So I believe that when we are fascinated in something, our instinct is to create something out of it to express our love. And in this case, it's astronomy, it's space, it's the night sky, it's the constellations. So art is a form of love I show to others when it comes to this field of knowledge. And we will always try to explore deeper about the subject to gain more knowledge about it. And besides creating arts, I also write poems. I love astrophysics. I have to say, I love astrophysics. I read books. My favorite book is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not sure if Mark knows about it. I love that book. So, is it okay if I read one poem? And I want a response from Kramer, from Mark, and from Ryan. What can you tell me about this poem? Okay, so the title of this poem is Close Trajectory. I am like an astronaut who seemed to hopelessly float beyond the atmosphere, and you are the earth. Constantly I am falling for you, and constantly I am missing you. Okay, so that is the poem. It's just a simple one. Can Ryan, Mar, or Kramer describe? And because there is something science and physics about it, so I relate it with human emotions.
Yes.
The title is Close Trajectory.
It seems,
Constantly the
yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's a sense there. To me, it feels like, you know, being lost in concepts and thinking about it and ideas, and we've got our earth, which is our grounding, which is our reality, and we're kind of like trying desperately to find the earth, but constantly being pulled back into fantasies and ideas and this kind of outer space that we sometimes find us. That's what it felt to me.
What about Ryan? Thank you, Mark. Love your response. Okay, Ryan, what about you?
For me, I think it's the cosmos, the feeling, this about the understanding about the universe specifically. ta- you, it is actually so easy when you observe the nature. It's just connected in our every day. You don't need to have a lot of knowledge sometime regarding astrophysics. You just need to have a better your attention, your awareness to your surrounding. Can actually connect us to understand what's going on in the universe. And I understand after, I would say, after reading all these scientific books, I understand that it's so easy to just observe the nature. And it was so easy as ABC. But we might not need to go deeper into the scientific terminology sometime, but to understand ourselves, but just observe our surrounding, our nature, the nature that we are surrounded with. We just need to observe those elements like birds, plants, insects, the sky, actually make you more aware about the universe. Yes.
Thank you, Ryan. Anything from Kramer before
Yes,
I explain?
poet. That's so good. The experience was just like falling into your words, and that line about constantly I'm falling for you, just how you described the meditation and how it was received in your body, and just really embodying kind of those, like you were saying, those larger concepts, and then giving that gift to whoever's listening to your poem to be able to kind of go through that journey in such a brief time. It's potent. Thanks for your poem.
Thank you, Kramer. So about this poem, close trajectory mean when an object is orbiting a bigger mass. So that smaller object will bound to its gravity, right? So if you are able to launch that object strong enough, powerful enough that it constantly it's falling. So every object that orbits, doesn't matter, bigger mass, like the earth, for example, the moon, it's actually constantly falling and missing, falling and missing, falling and missing. So that is what I have depicted in this poem. So that person is like this. You see this person like a bigger person, like a bigger mass, something that is you are so small around this person. You love him so much. Constantly, you are falling for him, but in the same time, you are missing. It is something that is you are bounded to him or her, but constantly you are missing her. Like you cannot connect her because she or he is the bigger person, you the bigger mass. So you feel like you are not as competent, as connected. There's a play of word with physics.
Beautiful. Beautiful, lovely, thank you.
Dheeraj, you seem like you understand.
Yes,
Thank you so much. That's it.
I would like to ask the same question. Mark, Kramer, uh, any tips that you would like to share? Because it's getting interesting now.
It's good, juicy stuff. One tip I would like to share is a concept of music therapy called the ISO principle. And this is something that everyone can use as you're making music choices to listen to. And the idea is that you're matching how you feel right now, your heart rate, the content of the mind, the emotions. You want to find a song that speaks exactly to what you're feeling. And with your music choices, you can progressively influence how you want to feel. So the idea is that it's using this concept of entrainment, which is kind of nature's way of being efficient, right? If you think about all the crickets that eventually start chirping to the same cadence, or the way water flows, uh, to the path of least resistance. Um, it's amazing when we do this experience in groups, when I introduce this concept of the ISO principle to my clients, because we eventually start to synchronize our breathing, our heart rates, and we all start to feel similarly. So this is a tip and a tool you can use in your own life, is choose how you want to feel. And through your music choices, progressively, create a playlist that will get you to that state. And you want to choose songs if you're trying to, reach a state of peace and connecting to the cosmos within. You want to choose songs that are getting slower in tempo, less musical elements, opening up more space. So this is a way that you can reach a really peaceful, coherent state just by making conscious music choices and arranging them in a way that will help you get to that place.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing this. Now I'm going to move forward to the next question. We have very limited time. In your opinion, what role does interdisciplinary collaboration play in it and advancing our understanding of the cosmos and fostering a deeper connection with it? Before moving into this, I would like to share some of the interesting thing regarding Mark has written some books as well. Maybe I can share the link if it is correct. So you may go through all these books that are available on Amazon, and they're so interesting, and I'm going to share the link. So, Mark, over to you this question, and meanwhile, I'm going to share the link in the chat box.
I mean, thank you, and such an interesting question. I think to me it brings the word understanding into question. Like, what you say, like, what role does interdisciplinary collaboration play in advancing our understanding? So understanding takes a different sort of, I don't know, can it take different perspectives depending on what you're doing. So there's, from a purely science point of view, then it's all about facts and figures. And, the science is famously very reductionist, right? So we're getting narrower and narrower and narrower and looking at our specific niche and figuring out the exact numbers and facts that kind of work on here. But actually, there's a whole different kind of understanding that we've been exploring, in the poem and in the music and in the meditation, it's more of a felt. And I like that word entrainment, how it's about kind of coming into line or aligning ourselves and our energy and our being, I suppose, with a different kind of understanding than what is traditionally in science. So I think trying to keep things reasonably succinct, I think bringing together that more artistic interpretation, the broader perspective, the feeling things out, and that more embodied sense definitely goes hand in hand with the scientific knowledge to get us to that, I don't know, like I don't know what the right word for that is. It is an understanding, but it's a more holistic understanding about who and what we are in this universe, rather than saying, oh, we're a species that evolved on a planet. The planet is this old and it's been evolving in this, it's all kind of facts. It's a felt sense that goes along with it. And I think that's really important. And that's where all this collaboration is so important.
Very interesting. I would like to ask the same question to Syahirah regarding interdisciplinary collaboration. What are the importance? What do you think? Because you're bringing your scientific understanding through art, and it's beautiful. Whenever you see your paintings, your artwork. Yes. So tell us more about it.
Thank you, Ryan, for the question. So interdisciplinary collaboration is, of course, crucial in bridging the complex knowledge of space and astronomy, especially with general public, and also in the education scene to the young learners, because space is for all, as it used to for centuries, for people to continue living, for them to advance, is to know about the stars, how to read the stars for calendrical purposes, for to tell time, and of course to navigate themselves across the earth. And bringing these different discipline of knowledge, the same as art, will show the significance of art in everything, because I'm not sure about in the other countries, but in Malaysia, when you take art stream, you'll be seen as someone who is not excelling their academic, because you want to take the easy way out. You just want to take art stream. Okay, everyone can do that. Everyone can excel in that. So this detach them from the importance of science as well, and vice versa. If you take science, then you don't have to take art. You don't have to take art subjects. So eventually, from this level, in academic level, it will continue to the next generation. So they will have this strong belief that taking art stream are for the people who are not excelling in their academics, and taking science, you'll be seen as someone who is very clever, very smart, genius, when it's actually not the case. And right now, the academic world has moved from STEM to STEAM, which is integrating arts in the study of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So using art as a platform to deliver this complex knowledge of science, especially space and astronomy, because we know that based on what I have seen over the years of doing exhibitions, giving talk, these people, the general public, think that astronomy and space science is for the astronomers, for the astrophysicists, for the scientists, when it's actually for everyone, because we are all living under the same sky. We are experiencing the same thing. It is a matter of awareness, whether we are aware of it or not. And I feel that it is so important for us to be aware of what is on this in the sky, for us to appreciate what is below. As above, so below. So as for me, in my experience, when I love astronomy so much, I appreciate the earth so much more, because I learned about the danger of light pollution, and it is caused by what's on earth. So we we as educators, we need to give awareness. We have to educate them. Okay, Ryan. We have to educate them about this knowledge of astronomy. Tell them that it's not for those who are geniuses, for those who are studying the arts science stream. It is for everyone. It's for the general public. This is why we do this kind of thing. We do talks, and we do outreach, because we want to connect the general public with this knowledge, which is so crucial.
Interesting. I would like to, there was a question that I shared with Syahirah. Before moving into this further, I would like to share my personal understanding about interdisciplines collaboration. Interdisciplines to collaborate is just about a storytelling. When you create a movie, you need more different group of people to share your story. I think we all have a story to tell, everybody. And everybody needs a collaboration to make their message more accessible and understandable for every person, to make it more easy for everybody. Um, and I
And
think we need more people to, if you have anything to share, we need more people to make them understand what is your message, because sometimes your language can be a barrier. So I think you may need an interpreter or somebody to help you out, or something, a tool, or an expert, or somebody to support you in terms of collaboration. So I'm going to ask the same question to Kramer about the importance of this interdisciplinary collaboration, how important it is, because collaboration means a lot. I think I'm not sure about grammar. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm dealing mostly with sound and music, so collaboration is key, right? The more the merrier, trying to find people in their lane. And for me, it's just cool to see the patterns in one field and how they might translate to another field, making the connections that may not be obvious. I think we all have our unique gifts, and just like this container here, like it's inspiring different things in me get awakened and ignited from the presence of other people. So we don't have access to all the information within ourselves, and the collaboration between these different fields is crucial to kind of get the whole picture, or to see it in different ways and to get it described visually with more articulate language, through dance, through all these different mediums. I think um, it just creates a more complete perspective. The truth is the conglomerate of all the perspectives.
Okay. Interesting. I would like to ask one important message that you would like to share. I would like to ask Mark, Syahirah, then Kramer, any message for the audience or any takeaway for today's event, because we are going to close up soon. And if anybody wants to ask any question, please feel free to share your message or raise your hand and ask the question with our special guest speakers. Yes, Mark, over to you.
I think Syahirah had a very, very good point. I'd like to just draw it back out again, actually. I think that people have this idea that science and astrophysics is for certain kinds of people, and that you have to have a certain background to understand it. And I think what's very, very lovely about this kind of setting and what we're doing here is pulling out the different perspectives from all these different areas of life, and how actually the view of where we come from and how we fit within this universe is a shared human experience that's for everyone, and everyone needs to have a view of that to feel their humanity. So I really think that to me seems like the most important point here. Thank you.
Yes. Over to you, Syahirah. Any message or any takeaway for the audience? I got your that we need to take a picture together, all of us. Yes.
All right. So for me, keep on exploring, keep on, you know, get gain knowledge in whatever you love, keep on making research. I am the living proof. I am the living proof of someone who is not from science background and want to venture so much in it. I just can't contain this passion. So I express it through my artworks, through my poems, through my words. And I am become the embodiment of space and art. And in my country, I am pioneering the space art movement. It's the first one in Malaysia. So nothing can stop you if you are passionate enough. And when it comes to astronomy, I think it's a noble thing, because to know astronomy, to know about the stars, about our planets, is to know about our place in the universe. It's for me, our panelist student encapsulates everything that a stargazer will do. They will listen to music and meditate and imagine themselves being a part of the universe while looking at the stars. It's beautiful. I'm so glad to get to know Kramer and Mark. It's a beautiful thing, and we're meant to meet here, delivering knowledge for everyone.
I think we are connecting cosmically together.
Yes. There you
Uh,
go, the title.
that's a title. And also, I think we really need to meet up all together and create some cosmic event and with the cosmic tribe. Definitely. So I'm gonna ask the same question too. Any message, any takeaway for the audience, Grammar? Because your element, because I heard I was reading some article that sound can heal as well, and I fully believe this, and I that's why I feel like it's a very important element that sometimes we miss out when we see or we talk, but we don't focus on what we hear. So it's a
Hmm.
basic element most of the time that we always miss out, and I think, and it's a very interesting element that we need to incorporate in our practices, in our activities, that how sound play an important role when we are organizing or in bringing more people on board. What's the message of the sound in our
Yes,
oh,
absolutely.
yeah,
Sound can heal.
yes.
My takeaway would be to encourage everyone to sing. You can tune yourself, especially if you have a drone playing or if there's a humming around, you can harmonize with this tone. Um, and there's a way you can bring this inner sound out. So, like Shahira was saying, once you're feeling connected and, you know, totally in tune with your surroundings, try singing from that place. Try singing from your heart. I am always encouraging people to sing. There's a way that the way that your human voice can be balm for yourself, the sound of your own perfect instrument can heal. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you can use your music choices to also bring you to a state of coherence. So, yeah, my takeaway is you are cosmic. Use these vibration principles to kind of remind you of that.
Very interesting. I think we need to speak up and share our message, whatever we want to share. And we have one raised hand for now. Nurul Aman wants to say, and we have one more question. So I'm going to, yes, Noor, yes, you may unmute yourself and
Hi everyone. First of all, I would like to thank everyone, especially Ryan, Shahira, Kramer, and Mark. It was an incredible session and an interactive session. Being an astro enthusiast, astro science enthusiast, it was incredibly amazing. So I would like to ask a question to Ryan. That at the beginning you mentioned that the you know light pollution causing making sky less dark and making the image of view of the space blurry. I think additional to light pollution, dust pollution also play a part in that thing, because not much but to some extent. it makes the scene, it makes the sky blurry for us to make the scene or to observe the sky more clearly. So I just want you to say something on that. Like, we need to talk about dust pollution as well as, because not that much impacting, but to some extent it does impact, making the sky dark.
Making the sky dark or making the sky glow, are you
Less
talking
bright.
about? I'm a little confused with the question, because when you talk about light pollution, and because of the sky glow of the city lights, we cannot see the stars. And that is one of the important thing that's why we are unable to see the sky or the stars in the sky. And uh, which is not only affecting the astronomers to for the stargazing, but also it's a pollution that we miss out the important term. It's a pollution that is affecting the whole ecosystem, the environment, the biodiversity, your health, energy wastage. A lot of things are interconnected with this topic, and I think it's important for all of us to understand why dark skies are important or why night sky is important, because this is very less discussed topic, even when you see from climate activism perspective. And when you see a lot of climate activists may not discuss this topic. I don't know why, but it is very important for climate activism, for climate action as well, for energy wastage that we do every night with this artificial lights. And for the question, I think light pollution, I've shared one link about Dark Sky Association. You may find a lot of information, a lot of research papers that is going to tell you more about how light pollution or light pollution is affecting us. Thank you so much. And we have another.
Can I just butt in
Yes.
there a little bit? Sorry. Of course, your light is going upwards, but in order for it to pollute, it needs to reflect off something. And I think that's the question here was about dust pollution, I suppose. As so normally it's reflecting off water vapor and dust that's in the atmosphere. But if you have more dust in the atmosphere, then the light pollution is going to be worse because it's reflecting off more. So I think
Yes.
if we have the
That
kind
was
of environment which
my
kicks up a lot of dust, right?
Yeah,
Is
you're
that right?
talking about the seeing, right? Where astronomer they use this term seeing when they want
Thank you.
to assess the condition of the sky.
Yeah.
So
So
it affects the seeing.
seeing is to do with the turbulence of the atmosphere and how much the wind is kind of spiraling it around and causing that. Yeah. But I think the dust just makes the pollution worse, the light pollution worse.
exactly.
It's add
But
on. Yes, from the astronomer's perspective, yes, definitely. That. Thank you for mentioning this. I think we have another question from Isadora. I saw the raise hand. If you have any question, anybody got any question, please feel free to ask. I hope, Dheeraj, you have received the poem and any other question. Otherwise, we are going to close the session. Thank you, everybody, for joining this event today. Happy International Dark Sky Week. Protect the night sky. And thank you once again for all the speakers. Have a nice day. Have a great evening. Thank you. And we can have a picture together before we leave. Yes. I can see Syahirah is mentioning. Please feel free to take a picture, all of us together. I think I'm going to bring Dheeraj on board as well because his camera is on. If anybody wants to join us, please feel free. Yes. Okay. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice day. Take
Thanks,
care.
Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah,
Thank
lovely.
you.
Yeah.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
so
Thank you all.
much. Thank you all.